हेलो एवरीवन, मैं वंदना आप सबका यूपीएससी टाइम में स्वागत करती हूँ। आज की क्लास में हम एनसीईआरटी हिस्ट्री क्लास 10 का चैप्टर 3 पढ़ने वाले हैं, जो कि है नेशनलिज्म इन इंडिया। नाउ लेट्स स्टार्ट द चैप्टर। First lies Mahatma Gandhi and the idea of the Satyagraha. Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in 1915 from South Africa. Gandhi's novel method to mass agitation is known as a Satyagraha. Satyagraha emphasizes truth. Gandhiji believed that if the cause is true, if the struggle is against injustice, then physical force was not necessary to fight the oppressor. A Satyagrahi can win the battle through non-violence. People, including oppressor, had be persuaded to see the truth. Truth was bound to ultimately triumph. In India, the first was the Champaran in 1916 to inspire a plantation work to struggle against the oppressive plantation system. In 17, Satyagraha at Kheda to support the peasant. Hind Swaraj, the famous book written by the Mahatma Gandhi, which emphasized non-cooperation to British rule in India. New economic situation created in India by the First World War. Manchester import into India declined as the British mail were busy with the war production to meet the need of army, paying the way of modern Indian mill to supply for the use of the homemaker. As the war prolonged, India factories were called upon to supply war needs. As a result, new factories were set up, new workers were employed, and everyone was made to work longer hours. Cotton production collapsed, and the export of cotton cloth from Britain fell dramatically after the war, as it was unable to modernize and compete with the US, Germany, Japan. Hence, within colonies like India, local industry gradually consolidate their position. The Revolt Act of 1919, it gave the British government enormous power to repress political activities and allow detention of political prisoners without trial of the 2 hours. After that, non-cooperation was adopted in Nagpur in 1920. Effect of a non-cooperation movement on economy of India. Foreign goods were boycotted, liquor shops were picked, and the foreign cloth was burnt. And import of foreign cloth have halted between 1921 to 1922. Its value dropped from rate 2102 crore to rate 57 crore. Many merchants and traders refused to trade in a foreign good or finance foreign trade. People began discarding important cloth and refused to trade in a foreign good or finance foreign trade. People began discarding import cloth and wearing Indian clothes. The production of Indian textile mill and handloom went up. Use of the khadi was popularized. Non-corporation movement in the countryside. In Awadh, the peasant movement led by Baba Ramchandra was against the talukdar and the landlord who demand extremely high rents and a variety of other diseases. From the peasants were forced to work in a landlord farm without any payment. Beggar peasants had no security of tenure, thus being regularly evicted so that they could acquire no right over the leased land. And demand of the peasant were reduction of landlord in a Goddam hill of Andhra Pradesh. A militant guerrilla movement spread in the early 20s. 1920, the closure of first area of colonial government, pretending people from entering the forest to graze their cattle or to collect fuel, wood, and fruits. They felt that their traditional rights were being denied. For the plantation work in Assam, freedom meant the right to move freely in one of the conified space in which they were enclosed. It meant retaining a link with the village from which they had come. Under the Island Immigration Act of 1859, plantation work were not permitted to leave tea garden without permission. In fact, the permission was hardly granted. When they heard of the non-cooperation movement, thousands of workers defied the authority. Slowing down of non-corporation movement in the cities, khadi cloth was more expensive than the meal cloth and poor people could not afford to buy it. As a result, they could not boycott meal cloth for too long. Alternative Indian institutions were not there which could be found in the place of the British once these were slow to come up. So student and teacher began trekking back to government school and lawyer joined back work in the government courts. Khilafat movement was started by the Mahatma Gandhi and the Ali brother Muhammad Ali and the Shaukat Ali in the response to the harsh treatment given to the Caliph of Ottoman Empire and the dismemberment of Ottoman Empire by the British. Chori Chora incident in February 1922, Gandhiji decided to launch a no-tax movement. The police opened fire at the people who were taking part in the demonstration without any provocation. The people turned violent into their anger and attacked the police station and set it to the fire. The incident took place at the Chori Chora in Uttar Pradesh. When the news reached Gandhiji, he decided to call off the non-cooperation movement as he felt that it was turning violent and that the Satyagrahis were not properly trained for a mass struggle. Swaraj Party was founded by C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru for return to counseling politics, Simon Commission 1922 and the boycott, Lahore Congress session and the demand for the Puma Swaraj in the 1922 Dandi March and the beginning of the civil disobedience movement. Feature for the civil disobedience movement, people were now asked not only to refuse cooperation with the British but also to break colonial law. Foreign cloth was boycotted and the people were also to picket liquor shop. Peasants were asked not to pay revenue and the Chokidari tax. Salt March on 31st January 1930, Mahatma Gandhi sent a letter to Viceroy Irwin starting 11 demands, one of which was a demand of abolished salt tax. Salt was one of the most essential food item consumed by the rich and poor alike, and tax on it was considered an oppression on people by the British government. Mahatma Gandhi's letter was an ultimatum, and if his demands were not fulfilled by March 11, he had threatened to launch a civil war. Bian's company. So Mahatma Gandhi started his famous Salt March accompanied by 78 of his trusted volunteers. The march was over 250 miles from the Gandhi's ashram in the Sabarmati to the Gujarat coastal town of the Dandi. The volunteer walked for the 24 days about 10 miles away. Thousands came to hear Mahatma Gandhi wherever he stopped and told them what he meant by Swaraj and urged them to peacefully defy the British. On the 6th April, he reached Dandi and ceremonially violated the law manufacturing salt by the boiling of the seawater. Who participated in the movement? Civil disobedience movement came into the force in the various parts of the country. Gandhi led the Salt March from the Sabarmati ashram to Dandi. He with his followers starting the civil disobedience movement in the countryside. The rich party Dar of the Gujarat and Jats of Gujarat Pradesh were activated in the movement. The limits of the movement, less participation by untouchable Ambedkar for separate electorate and Pune Pact of the 1932 lukewarm response by some Muslim political organization. The sense of collective belonging through nationalism spread through the experience of united struggle by the variety of cultural process captured the imagination of the India and promoted of a sense of collective belonging. Use of figure or image, the identifier of India came to be a visual associate with the image of Bharat Mata. Devotion of mother figure came to seen as the evidence of one's nationalism. Indian folk for nationalists started recording and using folks and tales which they believed gave a true picture of a traditional culture that had been corrupted and damaged by outside forces. So preservation of these become a way of discover one's national damaged by outside force. So preservation of these become a way of discover one national identity. Reinterpretation of history, Indian began looking into the past of rediscover the glorious development in the field of art and the science. The interpretation of history Indian began looking into the past, rediscovered a glorious development in the ancient time, the field of art, mathematics, reason, and culture, etc. The glorious time was followed by a history of decline when India got colonized. As India history was miserably written by the colonizer. With this, this chapter is complete. If you have query on related to this subject or a chapter, you can ask in the comment box. If you like the video, then hit the like button, and if you are new in this channel, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that upcoming videos come on to you time and you will get the notification. Thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned with the chapter.